The guidelines and procedures adopted by the Commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Madam Secretary, you please call the roll.
Chairman Hayes.
Here.
Mr. Cocoon.
Here.
Council President Les. Mr. Dyer.
Here.
Ms. McSeany.
Here.
Ms. Lubinecki.
Here.
And we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2 is approval of the minutes for the regular HDC meeting held on April 18th, 2017. We have the minutes before us. Any comments or additions or corrections?
No, I'd like to move that we approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve the minutes by Ms. McSeany and a second by Ms. Lubinecki.
Ms. McSeany.
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki.
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Abstain. I was not present.
Mr. Dyer.
Yes.
Chairman Hayes.
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3 is HDC 041-2017 for 1011 Montgomery Street, submitted by Eric Sabelhaus, requesting approval to build a shed in the back east side corner of his yard. It's a 10 by 12 shed. I do not see Mr. Sabelhaus here today. I did personally go by the house, and it's pretty much as laid out that as we have it in our pictures and all. It's pretty much a piece of property that piece of his property that apparently must have had a tree there or something, a dead tree. That's pretty much all that's left right there, and it's next to an outbuilding of his neighbor as well, shed or garage. Yeah.
Shall we move it to the end and see if he shows up?
We can certainly do that. Let's table it till the end to see if he comes by. Let's move on to, excuse me, agenda item number 4, HDC 042-2017 for 336 Montgomery Street, submitted by Randy and Jeanie Anastasi, requesting approval for the completed installation of a shed in the back east corner of the property. Please step forward. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Randy Anastasi. My wife Jeanie and Sophia behind me here.
Thank you.
Questions?
So tell us about the shed and how it got established already. And
We had need of a shed. We've needed it for years. But Jeanie came up with some health issues. We had to clean out our cellar and eradicate a mold situation. And in doing so, we had to gut it. A lot of stuff needed to go somewhere.
And there was some immediacy with this, correct?
Very much so. This was sitting in the yard in the location that we wanted the shed to be constructed in. So we were going to come, when we learned we needed a permanent approval for the shed, even though it was, mobile, Amish built, whatever. That meeting had been canceled, so we couldn't get heard until this meeting. And it was well over a month, and we just didn't have that kind of time. So we really needed to get this done. So our gratitude to Laurel for allowing us to have that permit ahead of time, and hopefully everybody's been by to see it.
Oh.
I have pictures if you haven't, and Just a little footnote, the color of our house, when we do repaint, we decided instead of matching the shed to our house, we like the shed color. We're going to think to ask for approval to match the shed color to the house.
Oh, really?
It's a
Okay.
couple shades darker.
So is that in
And that's why we picked the red door and the white trim. It already kind of goes well with the house. I think we improved the property.
So is this a request in addition to what's in your application to approve the paint color?
No,
No.
you
Okay.
can if you want. I mean, if
wasn't
that's part of
sure.
it, absolutely. Yeah. Just we picked the closest color to the existing house so it would blend.
Yeah, no, I've been by. It looks fabulous, actually.
Great.
And of course, we'll landscape.
Unfortunately, I didn't get by there, but you mind if I look at your pictures?
Yeah, not at all.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't go by either, because I knew where it was going to go. I didn't,
It's already there. It's actually already in.
Yeah.
or if I've been by, I didn't
I
look.
went by today. I almost walked past it. It looks so good.
There was a few, you got to skip by the family photo, the next one, but if you scroll, you'll see I took a few angles.
It's nice.
We kept it 3 feet from the fence, so we could still use the gate to the neighbor's yard, no behind it. It's 8 by 12. We tucked it in next to an existing flower bed with trees.
Yeah, I mean, it's barely visible from 4th Street. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed it. I saw. No, that's good.
All right.
Great. Okay.
Any other questions? Me?
Looks nice.
I move approval of HDC 042-2017 as presented.
I'll second that motion.
okay. Just a question. Do you want us to add the paint color approval at this time?
Yeah, and we can do
Okay.
that. That's the next big project, but it's not going to
But
happen
that would
this
keep them
summer.
from having to come back, right? If we had approved
If they what?
if we approved the paint color to paint their house the shed color, which is a different color than their current,
It's just a slight difference. It's not
Yeah.
Then that
You
would
can
keep
approve
them.
it. I'll put it on amend the application.
okay. So I think we need to change the resolution slightly.
Okay.
You want to change it, Mike?
If it's easier to come back, we can come back.
Just trying to make it easier for you.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion by Mr. Dyer to approve as amended for the approval of the paint color for the house as well, and a second by Mr. Clacoon.
Who was the second?
Mr. Clacoon.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Ms. Lou Medecki?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you very much. A twofer.
Seems silly.
Okay, I do not see Mr. Trotta here. Ms. Trotter, sorry. I've actually, I went by 209 11th Street, and the tree that she's talking about has gotten pretty huge in her front yard. It's actually probably a tree that if you knew it was going to ever get that big, you would never have put it in. It's got a very tiny front yard.
I think it's a willow oak.
Is it? Okay. It's one I didn't recognize the leaf of. Yeah.
I took it back to my arborist and asked
Oh, okay, cool.
what it was. I meant to go. I also went and looked and to
Yeah.
see what it was.
Yeah, and I can totally understand why she wants to. It's a healthy tree. It's just unfortunate that it's pretty much the wrong choice for the location.
It's really out of proportion
Yeah.
for the house, unfortunately.
And I've already sent her the list of acceptable trees, so
And was her Asian dwarf pear tree?
that
on
was
list?
that was one that she was proposing, and then I said it wasn't on our list, but I would send her a list of the ones that we did have as acceptable for the area. And I said, but if you want to fight for your Asian pear tree when you come to the meeting, you can plead your case, and then maybe you'll get it.
Right.
And maybe she has since changed her mind, I don't
Right.
know.
I mean, it sounded like that was one of the options she was considering, I think, in the thing. And I mean, I think for her, the main consideration should be a tree that doesn't get particularly big, just because of the proportions of the house
In the yard.
and the yard. Yeah, I mean, the house and the yard. I mean, even the evergreen is really too big for the. But
Yeah, so we can move this to the end.
Motion to table it?
Okay, we'll table this one too.
okay.
Moving on to agenda item number 6, HDC 047-2017 for 322 Laurel Avenue, submitted by Lam Vu, requesting approval to paint the handrail on the front porch white and remove a tree on the right side of the house that is encroaching on the roof and replace the front door with a similar door. Mr. Vu? Please step up and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about this.
So my name is Lam. I want because I just bought this house and the house is not maintenance well. So the first I want to paint the handrail because it's a natural wood. I want to cover it with the paint to protect the handrail, and then I want to remove the tree because the tree is a big tree, so it can damage the basement of my house, and also when it cover my roof, all of the pests, I try to get in on the roof, and the leaves drop on the roof.
Fill up your gutter.
Fill up the gutters.
Now, it's also encroaching on the roof of the vacant house next to you as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And number 3, I want to replace the front door because all the seal is not good. It doesn't work. So the air leave inside or outside.
Now, with that front door, you also have a transom over it. Are you going to keep the transom there?
I want to replace it too because it's too old.
Well, we're in a historic district, sir.
Yeah.
Because,
So that was my question: is that will the door that you're getting just replace the door, and you'll keep the glass transom above it?
yeah, I forgot about the storm door. It should be replaced because it's too old. And when I replace the new one inside, and
Okay, but you know the transom I'm talking about.
yeah,
Above the doorway.
Above the doorway.
oh yeah,
Glass, the
That
glass
light.
above the door.
on the top of the door.
Right.
Yeah, I want to replace it too because
You're going to replace it with another piece of glass, another transom, or you're going to box it in?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe I can buy the whole
We
frame
we
with
would
the
prefer,
glass inside.
being in the historic district, we would prefer that you kept it or kept it in kind.
Are you going to leave that in there?
I would replace it too.
You're going to put another transom in there?
No, he doesn't want to put another
You
transom.
want to replace it with what?
Or,
I forgot about that, so I have to write down on the board. What it
I
says.
mean, I can understand getting like another piece of glass that may be more energy efficient in there, but stylistically, that we would prefer that stay because you're in a historic district, and that's part of the history of the house and the historic flavor of the house.
And I went by your house today, and I looked at just about every other house on your block, and just about every single front door has a square-shaped window of some degree, some different shapes, different sizes, but they're all either square or rectangle. There was no doors with the round window that you're proposing. This is supposed to be, I think it said similar door, as to what you have, but this door that you're proposing is not similar to what you have or similar to anything else that's on your block in your street.
He also had the choices to the left. He didn't
Okay.
specify which one,
Yeah,
that's
I was
why I
gonna
gave you
ask.
those three. So the
okay.
choices to the left of the door are the square pane
Okay.
doors.
You realize you have a house that has a lot of original elements to it, and in a historic district, that's something that's generally prized and valued more. I mean, you're actually lucky you have an original door to your property, which adds to its panache in the neighborhood and as a contributor to the neighborhood. Do you have any thought of what you would actually do with that door?
I want to replace the new door, so it doesn't matter what.
Well,
If you allow me to replace any kind of door,
well, what I'm suggesting is that if we give you permission to replace the door, that because it's an original door, that you try to find a place that will reuse it, and there we can offer some suggestions on places. There's a place called Community Forklift, which takes original old doors. So I would actually urge you to keep this door because it's, you can also put on the transom, rather than replace it, you can get essentially a storm window for your transom, which is really a valuable part of the look of your front door. I mean, what you are showing, even with the framing of, even if you don't do the oval window, the framing that you have is totally different from the current look of the door, which is it's significant change, I'm afraid. And I think we would be concerned about that. At least I'm concerned about it.
no, this door is just I just buy this door, but the frame I try to find like the same the original. Not use the frame on this, but try to find like the original.
Yeah, we're not worried about the color. The color of the door is not really the issue here, I don't think.
Are you concerned about the style or the size?
I'm concerned about the style.
Oh, okay.
Quite a bit. But if you look at the current door has the transom on top and then the door. But on the picture that's on the right, okay, with the oval door, this one here,
Right.
if you look, the top is a totally different framing approach.
Right.
And that's,
What is your plan? I mean, you're going to widen the door? You're going to keep it the same width?
Yeah.
Keep it the same? Are you going to change the framing?
Yeah. All the frames damaged.
Okay,
Yeah.
what type of framing are you going to put around the door? Is it going to be like what's there, or is it going to be a different style?
Maybe the same style.
Going to be the same as what you have? It's going to be wood?
Yes.
And then what style door are you looking at? There's 3 different styles here.
I mean, I can live with either of the rectangular ones, as long as the transom is still there. I mean, I think taking the transom out is a major
It's
problem.
going to change, and I
Yeah.
don't think you can get a door. You're going to have to block that off. You can't get a door that tall.
We don't want a door. We
No,
want
I know.
Right.
It looks to me, is there actually a storm window on the transom at this point?
I don't think so.
So you have this. I think this door is the same style of this.
So we got 3 different doors here.
Right.
Which one are you looking at?
So whatever you approve,
So you have a square door now,
Yeah.
square window,
Yeah.
and most of what's on your street, if you look at your neighbors' front doors, most of them are square.
Square, yeah, or rectangular.
Or rectangular, right. So one of these 2 would be more desirable than this round
I
one.
would say,
But we definitely want the transom to remain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to find exactly like this.
Right, well, you won't be able to find a commercial thing with a transom probably would be my guess.
Right, you would
So what
probably
you have, the door that you get is the one that goes below here. It goes in this part, and the transom, if you're worried about the seal part of it, which it sounds like because they can leak and stuff, is you can either get a different type of pane of glass, which is done, or essentially a storm window for the transom.
What shape is this transom in? Is it
What do we shape?
What condition?
quality condition, right?
What condition?
It's not good.
It doesn't open, but
It shouldn't.
does it leak air, or is it rotten?
It's the glass is not clear.
Glass isn't clear?
The glass isn't clear.
Yeah.
So is it a stained glass?
Didn't notice.
I didn't think it was a stained glass. I didn't go up to your front door to take that close a look. When you say it's not clear, what do you mean?
Not clear means like
Is it colored?
like scratch or like that, like old. You can
It's old.
look out clearly.
So it's wavy.
Yeah.
So you have original wavy glass.
No, not even the glass. The glass.
See, but from a historic standpoint, if you have the original wavy glass, that's actually considered a good thing. I'm afraid. I mean, because that's an original piece of your house. I mean, you actually have the whole original door, which is actually quite a nice door. But we understand that you want, but the transom, we really encourage you to restore it as opposed to get rid of it. You'll be happier well, I can't speak for you that way, but it will add to the neighborhood if you keep it.
Right.
Sir, why is it that you actually want this door as opposed to the door
Well,
that
he
you
said
already
he
have?
could do 3. I mean, any
Yeah,
of
no,
the
but
3.
why don't you want this particular door? Just because the reason I'm asking is this whole setup is virtually identical to my house. And we have had issues about leaking around, but we've been able to deal with that in the past. We also replaced that window actually with plexiglass, and then we sealed the transom above it and actually made a stained glass to go into it. I'm not suggesting that, but it does. I think this is very attractive, the way that you have it.
Okay. When you look at the picture, you see it's not nice, but it doesn't. When you come to my house, you can see it. It's too old. It's not the normal door. It's something that the lady she bought. She said the house for me. She replaced somewhere, and all the frame they put the hinge on. It's sad because the screw doesn't work now. It's loose. I try to put another screw. It doesn't work because the wood inside is like rotted. All of the hinge. So that's why I want to replace the new one. I don't care about the style, any style that you approve for me. I just care about the new one. Any color that fit my house.
So, being in a historic district, there are certain things that it's generally called replace in kind. So that's why we're emphasizing that we don't want to lose the transom above it, and we'd like the door to remain in the same style, like either one of these two here.
I don't think you're going to be able to go to Home Depot or Lowe's and just pick this door up. It's going to have to be something that, if you decide to replace it, you're probably going to have to special order it. And so there's a lot of varieties of doors that you can get with a transom or without it, and to get them to look like this door, if this door is not salvageable.
Yeah. So have you investigated the size with going to Lowe's or Home Depot and seeing if they have this size door available?
Okay, and after we get in again and adjust some picture.
No, but have you gone to Home Depot
Yeah.
or Lowe's?
So
With the size of your door, with
With the dimensions, you know, how tall and how wide?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think you may find, I know that I also live in the historic district. My house was built in 1895, and it was a special, in fact, when we moved in, it wasn't the original door. And so it was sized very oddly. And so when it had to be replaced, we had a transom above there, but so it had to be actually, the door and the transom were sort of a package deal, as you were saying, yeah. And it had to be replaced because the one that was in place just wasn't going to work with the new door. So,
But you retained your transom.
but it was exactly the same. It was a replace in kind.
Right.
It looked the same. It just had to be part of the door because it was a custom door. That's what I'm getting at. Is that you may find that you have to go to someone who actually will custom make this door. Unfortunately, they're quite a bit more expensive, but the good thing is that coming before us, you get the 10% tax credit. But I would, so this may be a little bit early in your process here. With the door, I would recommend that you go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's with your measurements, see if they have one there. As Mr. Clarkoon stated, you're probably not going to find one there, and so then you'll have to go to a manufacturer who will come in and measure it and give you a price for the whole package deal. And once you have that, then you'll have, pictures and samples, and you could bring before us. But I think that if you haven't gone the custom route for this, I think you're going to find that's the way you need to go.
In the historic, you may feel like, gee, we're giving you a pretty hard time on your front door here. But in the historic district, the front door is one of the signature elements of what helps make the character of the district. So it's a piece of the house, I'm afraid, that's really quite important to us. And I would go along with Mr. Hayes' suggestion, and perhaps, I guess, what do we do when we get to it?
And there's still a little bit to talk about. When I went by, I noticed that the handrails are already white. That whole process, the balusters and the banisters, the whole thing is
Did you do
white.
that late this afternoon? Because I walked past this afternoon, and it was still brown this afternoon when I walked. What time did you paint? Because I was here like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I walked by.
Well, what I'm concerned about is that you have plans to hopefully do the porch railing in white too, right?
Right, that was
this part up here. Because to be honest with you, it would either all be all natural or all a consistent color, or a pattern of colors. You could have green on the top and then white or something. But generally, if you're going to do your banister and your steps, the hand railing white, that you'll want to paint this white up here too.
Is that your plan, to paint all the wood white? So is that what you really would like us to approve in terms of this outfit, for you to do all the porch railings white? That's actually what you, rather than just the rail?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
the diagram.
Okay, because your application just says the rail, just says the handrail.
it says paint the handrail on the front porch white.
But I think what you really, so,
No, I mean the one down here.
Nope, that's the lattice. I'm talking about up top. Yeah.
Can I paint the one?
Sure.
Yeah, everything white would be lovely.
it's fine.
Yeah.
We're giving you more permission than you asked for, is what.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we have a consistency in color, so that not only is this white, but this up here is white too, as well.
I
You
mean,
know, sometimes the lattice down here is a contrasting color, you know, or you can paint it the same color, you know, that's okay.
You know, well, you can walk around the neighborhoods and kind of see how people have painted their different things. And then we have the tree.
So, yeah, and so I think if we're going to have a motion, I think we're going to have a motion for items number 1 and number 2, but we're going to hold off on the door.
Wait, I want to discuss, yeah.
I know, I'm just saying.
Okay.
You know, for another time, once you've done more homework on that. Ms. Lubinecki.
I'd actually like to talk about the tree a little bit. I did walk past your house today to take a good look, you know, at the rail, but also at the tree. And I actually have some real concerns about taking that whole tree down. And let me give you a little background on where the concerns are coming from. Part of the character, in my opinion, that really makes up the historic district is the fact that we have mature, fully grown trees. And our goal is not to have trees removed unless they are truly out of proportion to the neighborhood, such as the one we approved just before. They have a hazard, or they're what we would call a junk tree that has its own hazards. The tree that I see in your yard, and I actually have a question, is that tree not into your neighbor's yard? I mean, is it fully your, is it 100% your tree? I mean, it looked like it actually was right on the borderline here.
Yeah, well, if the driveway is the borderline.
Right, but there's a rail,
Sit on my property more than.
but it also sits on your neighbor's property?
Yeah.
So does just,
So it sits on my property more than my.
Right, and the other house is vacant.
well, but it has an owner, right?
I presume.
Right. So the question becomes, do you need to have permission from the neighbor to even consider removing the tree?
It's not from the bank. Nobody live there.
It's bank-owned house.
Yeah.
Right, so the bank owns it, somebody owns it, right. But be that as it may, I have some serious concern. I understand your concern about having the branches over your house, okay?
And one more thing, because I want to, extend the driveway. So inside the driveway,
Right,
yeah, because the tree, they sit like that. The car cannot get in.
I understand.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
That would be an additional request.
But the tree is perfectly healthy, and looking at it, you could cut off, you can literally take off, it's got like 3 V's to it, so the V that actually is encroaching onto your roof and stuff could be trimmed and off, and the tree would still be living and add to your neighborhood. So I have personally some concerns about taking out a very healthy tree, a willow oak, which by the way is the official tree of Prince George's County, just throwing that out there. So I have a concern there. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm giving you a hard time here today, but there's some issues, so.
Did you say the roots are going in the basement?
Yeah, because it's a big tree in the roof.
Yeah, if the roots are going in the basement, that's a whole new thing, because I've had that, and I had a tree from hell that tore up my basement. So I sympathize with you if that's part of it. You can certainly trim the top of it, but if the roots are going in the basement, I don't know if there's anything you can do about that.
There's so many reasons that I want to remove the tree.
You don't think you could fit the driveway between the tree and the house?
It's like too small to get the spot.
Well, I think we need to make it clear that you are not requesting, at least I didn't see it, to extend your driveway here. And if your purpose of taking the tree down is to extend the driveway, that's a different thing, to be honest with you.
But I will do later.
So take the tree down later.
So what is it doing in your basement? What are the roots doing in your basement?
I scared about that. I don't see anything now. But I see
Oh, so it's not doing anything?
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Just worry about that.
Oh, so it's not getting into the basement yet.
No, not yet.
It's a different thing.
It's a cute little house. I mean, there's no question.
Well, I would move that we approve painting the front porch, but I am not in favor of cutting down the tree. You can certainly prune the tree. Why not cutting out it? Because it's a good tree. And your objection is it fills up your gutters.
But I don't think it would.
You don't think it would what?
Well, so what we're saying, if you can take off, if you can prune off the branches
On the left-hand side there, there's a...
that are coming over the tree,
Over the house.
right, over the house, rather, yeah. Then the body of the tree can remain there, and it's,
It's a full mature
yeah.
tree.
It would alleviate some of the gutter issues,
The position.
I have to get,
Not, like.
Well, I mean, and I got to say that unless you are trained in being an arborist or whatever the proper name is that you could get someone to come who is an expert in trees, and if they could, do an examination of the tree and tell you that it's either unhealthy or whatever, then we would have a reason to approve you taking down the whole tree. But I think the consensus here is that you could prune it and achieve your current objective of keeping your house safe and the maintenance for your gutters, at a minimum.
What do you mean safe?
Well, if you're concerned about a storm coming and knocking down the branch onto your roof, we would understand that, and so you can trim that branch. So before that happens, you can take that out of the mix. But it sounds like that the reason that you want the tree to go is because it's in the way of you wanting to extend your driveway, which you didn't request for us to do. But the only part of the tree is in going over, actually coming close to your house and presenting some sort of, potential hazard there in the event of a heavy storm, if it were unhealthy. But I think the consensus here is that the tree has to be proven to be a hazard, either from low-hanging branches or unhealthy branches or an unhealthy whole tree before we can approve taking the whole tree down.
Okay. I plan to do the driveway from the front to the back of the house. So that's why I get approval for remove the tree. That's the main reason that I want to do the
But that isn't the application for today.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
She said do it from step by step.
Right.
Yeah, I do a lot of requests. But she said every time submit 3 requests. So I all the plan to do the driveway, the shed on the back, but I cannot do one time.
I would like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
As to painting the handrail, I approve that the handrail and the pickets would be painted white, and if you desire to paint the lattice work white as well. item number 2, with the removal of the tree, I would say that at this point, we would not approve that, but that we would ask you to bring your plans to us with regards to installing a driveway, how long the driveway is going to be, how far back it's going to go, how wide, and also if you could get a report on the condition of the tree from a tree expert.
Why? Because right now the car cannot go through the driveway because the tree, you know.
No, but you would,
Between the tree and the sky.
right, bring before us the dimensions of the driveway that you're proposing.
And if you're not ready to do this,
See the picture, at least you cannot. But when you get into my house, you can see the root of the tree, you know, go close to my house, so I cannot drive the car.
Right, no, you can't put the driveway in. You have to bring us the dimensions of the driveway that you're proposing.
and the materials, and
Yeah, is it going to be gravel? Is it going to be asphalt? Is it going to be concrete, stamped concrete? What,
Permeable
what are
concrete?
you planning to do here? And all those plans, get all those plans together and bring them.
One time, but she said through many requests, so.
Well, I think because part of it is in the inclusive thing here is that the key element here is the tree. You know, there has to be a good reason to remove the tree. You're in a historic district. We consider not just the building as part of the historic nature, but also the landscaping. That includes the trees as well.
And to finish my proposal, item number 3, the applicant will investigate whether the existing door can be saved, or if he's going to special order and then bring the materials that he's proposing to use for the front door back to the commission at a later date. And my proposal would be to deny replacing the door with the information that we've received here tonight. So that would be my proposal. I know it's long.
I'll second it.
So I just have a question because this tree is on my property. What happened now? Have a right to
Because you live in a historic district.
because you said you look at it nice. I don't say it's nice. I don't say it.
No, I didn't say
It's
that.
my house.
I didn't say that. I just said
You said on the landscape, like
you're proposing, you told us tonight you're proposing to put a driveway in. And my request was that you bring us the dimensions of the driveway that you're proposing to put in. Bring that back before the commission, bring back a report on the health of the tree, and then we would make a decision at a later time.
We don't have enough information right now.
I'm not denying that it won't ever be able to come down. I'm just requesting that you, since you said you were going to put a driveway in,
not how you measure. This is the tree and this is the roof. How you measure from the side
no,
to where?
you're going to put a driveway in.
Yeah.
Okay, what size?
Okay, you just want the wire.
How wide, how long, what is it going to be made out of? So get that information and then submit it at a later time, and then we would review that information.
maybe Mrs. Pritchard can help you a little bit more with what it is that we're asking for from you.
That's why we only bought a portion of what he's requesting. I have a list of 6, 7, 8 things that he wants to request, but we did 3 at a time because I need additional information for the others.
And we
Plus,
still,
plus the driveway has to have a permit from the city to put a driveway in. We have to know the dimensions. We have to know if there's still enough green space, the same with the shed.
Right.
So it's a whole process that has to be done.
And
But I'll email Mr.
So actually, how can I get the draw into my house? So I know exactly the border of the house.
A plat? Can't you get that from the
The border
county?
of
Yeah, from the county?
We can help get that information for you.
Okay, thank you.
And actually, there is the, what is it called, the rain check program that the county offers for when you're putting in a driveway, that you can possibly, if you're doing a what's called permeable, where the rain will go through, where you can actually apply and possibly get the cost of putting that driveway refunded to you. So that may be a program that you would know.
Not driveway, you
Yes,
mean
it
for
is.
taxes.
But they have a rebate program.
It's a rebate program.
The rain check
Oh.
for
The
Prince
rain check
George's
rebate.
County.
County program, that's.
Okay.
It's a county, and we don't, but it's a county program. So you might be
Okay.
able to get some of the cost
And I'll
rebate.
email him the links for some of that and the permit process. I mean, all of this is a process.
I mean,
So tonight, there was another request that he got approval for to paint the house the same color. Now the railings and the handrail white. And then we had put in for the door and the tree. But he also wants to put a shed eventually, wants to build an addition on the back. But that's a process. You have to go through the steps. So I'll try and help you with what your next steps are.
Does the city have an arborist that they would recommend?
We can't recommend we can provide
You have a
our
list.
bidders list.
Can you provide the applicant with the list?
Has the applicant had a chance to read the Historic District Guidelines, which I think as you're new to the neighborhood, and if you haven't lived in a historic district before, some of this may seem arduous and somewhat intrusive, but it's kind of part of the benefit of living in a historic district, because you do get some tax credits for doing the work kind of along the way that we suggest. And it adds to the whole neighborhood, but it's like living in a subdivision where they have a homeowners association, where they only have certain things you can do. So if the applicant hasn't read them, or if you haven't had a chance to read them, I would really recommend that you do that. It might make you feel better about the process.
Okay. So today I have just one approval for the handrail.
Yes.
Yes,
And we're still have to get to that, actually.
We have to vote.
we have to vote.
So, Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve item number 1 of HDC 047-2017 of painting the handrail on the front porch white along with the rest of the
Pickets and
banisters and balusters on the porch there. But we have not approved removal of the tree or replacing the front door. We're holding off on that for more information.
Kind of deferring.
And we have this motion by Mr. Clacoon and seconded by Ms. McSeany.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you very much. And
Just
we look.
one question about the tree. That's not approval, but you need like some more information for the next
Right.
process.
You'll still have to come
Yes.
before us to have it approved.
So can you email me some,
I'll email you
request,
tomorrow and
Thank you.
explain it to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 7, HDC 048-2017 for 510 Prince George Street, submitted by Margie McSeany, requesting approval of several trees.
Removals.
Yes, yes. But I think with very good, reasons. So if you have been to my yard, you will see that there are a whole lot of trees, probably as many trees in my yard as almost in the rest of the block. Certainly, from Wilson Street to 5th Street, I have more trees than everybody else. So if you go in order, there's a maple tree leaning across Prince George Street towards my neighbors.
Yeah.
And won't do me any harm, but, I would not be a good neighbor if something happened. And then I have...
That's also infringing on the walkway there, the sidewalk and walkway?
Has it increased its lean over the time that you've lived there?
I don't know that I haven't measured the angle, but certainly, the overhang has, the tree has gotten a little bit bigger, so it hangs over more. And the places where there are knots, where limbs have been removed, those are being hollowed out. So I've received conflicting reports from various tree people as to whether it's healthy or not, but it's not necessarily a sick tree that falls,
Right.
but it's a leaning tree. And
Yeah, my perception would be that in the 30 years that we've been here, that it has definitely encroached more on the street.
so that's the first one. And then I have a large number of locust trees that
The ones with thorns?
with the thorns, which are literally a thorn in almost every part of my body when I go to prune them, and they break off, and they'll break, just in the middle.
The majority of those trees, it looks like the tops have broken out of them at one point or another.
Oh, yeah. And there's a piece hanging from one of them that, it's been up there for at least a year. I can't get it down. And Ken Scrivseth has helped, cut up one that fell.
Okay.
And they sprout from their seeds, and they sprout from the roots. And the only way to slow them down is to use brush-on stump killer.
You have these professionally removed.
Yes, because in Maryland, you are only supposed to use a licensed tree expert.
So, and based on what you were saying, you're not planning to replace any of these trees?
I have lots of other trees in my yard, so I want to see what happens. I have 2 trees ready to plant. I just don't have spots for them. So they're in pots. Actually, I have 3 trees in pots.
Have you had limbs come down?
On these from the locust trees? Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. In the
Black and walnut.
so in this picture,
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
so there was a 4th trunk. I
That's
guess
all
you
that's
would
left
call
of
it. And at one point, that broke off, about, 4 or 5 feet. This one broke off, just halfway. I think that's the one that hit my roof. You can see where they just break off.
Yeah, pretty much that's one of the signs of an unhealthy.
Well,
tree.
yeah, and they're trash trees. So that's why I would like to get rid of those. And then there's the last one's in the way back.
That's the black walnut?
No, there's another locust tree in the way
Oh, okay.
back. And then we could move on to the black locust, or
Black walnut.
the black walnut.
Is the black walnut in the back or the front?
I have a feeling.
And that's in the back.
I have a picture of the black walnut.
Yeah, but that's in your backyard.
Oh, this is the black walnut.
Right.
Okay.
Thought maybe.
So I have other trees that it is sprouting in that are much preferable. I have an American elm, and I have.
That's still living?
It's still living, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Wow.
And the black walnut is impinging.
And nothing grows.
And, I've lived with the walnuts. I've tripped on the walnuts. I have laundry stains from the walnuts that are in my So, any questions? But I've planted, what did I say? 12 trees? 13 trees? I have to count. I've planted at least 12 trees in my yard,
Yeah.
much better trees.
I actually drove in back of your house, and I actually, in all the years I've been here, I've never been through that alleyway that way. And yeah, I was surprised at how packed your yard was with trees.
Well,
So I'm obviously not anti-tree, just those particular trees.
well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve HDC 048-2017 for 510 Prince George Street as submitted by Margie McSeany to remove the indicated trees.
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve by Ms. Lubinecki and a second by Mr. Dyer.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have agenda item number 8, a tax credit request for 407 Prince George Street, submitted by Gordon Dexter, requesting approval for the tax credits for an approved HDC certificate. The amount of approved work was $11,050, and he submitted proof of payment, and the requested tax credit amount is $1,105.
We need a motion on
We
that?
do.
Yes.
I move we approve the tax credit request for 407 Prince George Street.
I'll second that.
Madam Secretary, we have a motion to approve the tax credit from Ms. McSeany and a second by Mr. Cocoon.
Ms. McSeany?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you very much. We also have a lot of staff approvals here.
Right, and we have 2 deferred items that we put.
Oh, thank you very much, yes. Thank you for reminding me. So we have 2 deferred items the folks have never showed. I'd like a consensus on there's nothing too unusual about either request, to be honest with you.
Would like to have a better look at that shed, frankly, but
Yeah, I mean, we have a description, you're right. We don't, it sounds like it's,
kind of built in the style of the one,
right, so it sounds like it's being a custom shed. Yeah.
but he didn't say that. did he?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
So
aluminum,
Yeah.
so it's not wood.
I think we're going to have to wait on that one.
Just defer it.
When do you think our next meeting is? Any?
We'll be meeting in August.
What did what?
When is our next meeting?
July, third Tuesday in July.
Okay.
That's right. I lost an entire month there.
Okay. We're not skipping a month, though.
All right.
So we could defer this to the next meeting.
Yes.
And it won't be passed.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, contact Mr. Sabelhaus and make sure that he appears here so that we can get.
I sent the reminder
I'm
letters
sure
to
you
both
did, yeah.
applicants. I'm really surprised they're not here.
And actually, I think if you asked Mr. Sabelhaus, however you pronounce it, to maybe bring a picture of the actual shed he's proposing, because his description was a little bit vague, if you wouldn't mind, would help.
So we need a motion to defer or table.
I would like to make a motion that we table HDC 041-2017 to the next Historic District Commission meeting in July.
I second that.
August. No, it's June. You're right, it's July.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
You retired.
Yes, there you go. You can, it's proof now. Madam Secretary, we have a motion to table HDC 041-2017 to our next meeting by Mr. Clacoon and a second by Ms. Lubinecki.
Mr. Clacoon?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes?
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Ms. McSaney?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes,
And the motion carries.
thank you. And we also have HDC 046-2017, removal of a tree. Seems to almost be the order of the date.
Yes. Trees and sheds seem to be the.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So again, this one, I actually went by and it's totally reasonable request as far as I'm concerned.
But we don't know what she's going to propose to put back there.
We don't know that. I don't know is that really, as long as it's something, we know that she is aware that she will be replacing it.
We can make a motion to make sure that it's replaced with something that's on the list that's provided by the city.
That works.
Go for it.
Okay. Make a motion that we approve HDC 046-2017 to remove the oak tree in the front yard, and a tree will be replaced from the list that's provided by the city.
I would second that if we amended it with, or another tree, if she wants a tree that's not on the list, she can come back to us,
Okay.
please.
I'll take that friendly amendment.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Madam Secretary, we have a motion amended by Mr. Clacoon and seconded by Ms. McSaney.
Mr. Clacoon?
Yeah.
Ms. McSaney?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Chairman Hayes?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you. Okay. So now on to the staff approvals.
I see. It's 3 different addresses for Sterling Gallagher. Is that blue? Was that on the paint list from the city? The paint chart, the color chart? The color that he has on that building now?
And who's that?
I'm sorry. That's for Sterling Gallagher, 315, 311, 313 Main.
I can't hear you.
315, 311, 313 Main.
Sterling Gallagher.
Yeah, those 3 buildings.
Yeah. The color that he painted it, was that on the color spectrum for the city?
That was the color that was previously on there. He moved the sign and he matched the paint as best he could.
But that wasn't the original color. I think we
It
had.
has been painted. It was painted. We had him repaint that.
Okay.
He painted it. It was a little too turquoisey, and he was supposed to be painting it the shade of blue that he had previously painted it,
Okay.
and it was a little more turquoise, and we had him go back and repaint it. That's probably been about
10 years,
8 years ago.
I remember that.
For my time.
So this time they matched the paint.
So what's there?
So it's an in-kind.
Okay.
Okay, so and just a question for just looking at Mr. Mr. Vu's thing. So was he requesting approval to stain the front? Was he just talking about the deck part of the?
Yes.
Not the railings and stuff, right?
Okay.
The front deck porch,
Right.
Yeah, just the decking.
just the decking, which is actually hopefully because I think we had a little communications issues here, where he was having some difficulty understanding us.
Well, it was also an education issue, too.
Well, just, yeah.
Okay.
So we need
So, Madam Secretary, could you refresh my memory? Do we just have to review the staff approvals? Do we have to approve over top of them? We don't, do we? No. Okay. Thank you. I didn't think we did. Okay. Agenda item number 9, new business. Anyone have any new business?
We're old. We're historic district commission. We think old.
Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Thank you very
I'll
much.
second that.